I'm Sheila and I'm a senior at Calabasas High School and I'm taking senior project. And for my project, I'll be cooking a bunch of different cuisines from around the world. And doing this, I will figure out what are the key differences and flavors around the world. This is not a tutorial by any means. I am cooking, but this is more of a video on the history and culture behind different cuisines. So this week, I'll be cooking Greek food and I'll be talking about the Greek history and culture behind it. Before I go into the video and talking about the culture and history behind the food, I would like to state that all the information I'm using is coming from an article by Angel Foods on Greek food, which I will link in the description. Greek food is the first example of a melting pot of cuisine. By that I mean it's a fusion of many different cuisines surrounding this area. This can be traced back to around 300 BC. This is where the first cookbook can be dated back to, written by poet Archistros. The main components of the cuisine include wheat, olive oil, and wine. For the main source of protein for their meals, they more often than not ate fish rather than meat, which makes sense as they bordered the ocean. Around 330 BC, when Alexander the Great expanded the Greek Empire towards Europe and South Asia, more of the region's cuisine began to influence Greek cuisine. Further into the future, when the Greeks fell to the Roman Empire, Roman and Greek cuisine began to mix with one another. New items that weren't in Greece before were now available, such as caviar, nutmeg, lemons, and basil, as well as abundance of new spices as the empire began to intertwine with the spice trade happening. Now moving into more of the composition of Greek cuisine ingredients. Greece is a country that depends on cheese, oil, fruit, nuts, grains, vegetables, and herbs. Common vegetables that are available in the region include tomato, eggplant, potatoes, green beans, okra, peppers, and onions. Also, olive oil is a very common ingredient that you can find in almost every single recipe. The key flavors of this cuisine are based on the herbs and spices grown in the region, which include and are not limited to oregano, mint, garlic, dill, and bay leaves, as well as other spices not grown in the region like cinnamon and cloves, spices that bring warmth to the dishes that they're in. As aforementioned, fish was very common in Greece for ages, but now with modern farming techniques, Greek food includes a lot of poultry, beef, pork, and goat. Goat and sheep are usually saved for the more special occasions. Honey is a very common ingredient used in Greece, in their desserts especially. Plenty of honey can be found throughout the country. To list a few, there's orange honey, lemon honey, thyme honey, and pine honey. As I previously mentioned, Greeks use a lot of cheeses in their dishes. There's feta, the cheese that people are most common with from Greece, but there's so much more than that. For example, I pardon my pronunciation, kefalori, a matured yellow cheese, a cheese I should be using for this dish, the Papoutsakia, but I couldn't find as it was very difficult to find in grocery stores around me. So when I was looking up replacements for kefalori, there were multiple options that were more available to me, which I ended up going with Gruyere, which is a aged cheddar, but other options included Parmigiano Reggiano, for example. When making these dishes, we can always use stuff that are available to us as replacements, and that's what a lot of people have to do when developing new cuisines. That's all I have on the history and culture behind this cuisine, so enjoy the video of me cooking until I start talking about what I actually cooked near the end. Now back to the food I've been cooking this entire time that you've been watching. I apologize for the mess I've been making, and I'm not a professional chef, but what I've been making makes do for the video. I've been making, once again, I pardon my pronunciation, Melitzanes Papoutsakia, which is a stuffed eggplant dish. It's a roasted eggplant filled with a tomato meat sauce, topped with bechamel sauce and cheese. And then for the starter, I made tzatziki with some warm pita bread. Tzatziki is a yogurt sauce that has mint and cucumber in it, something similar to what my Persian parents would eat very frequently at home. Maskhyar, which is just translated to yogurt and cucumber. Although I personally never ate it that much because I did not enjoy eating yogurt growing up. Now, on to what my parents thought of the food. I talked to my parents after making this dish, and my mom said she really loved the dish as she is a very avid enjoyer of eggplant dishes, and she gave it a 10 out of 10, although she might be a little biased because, like she said, she loves eggplant. Then I asked my dad, and he said, I'll give it an 8 out of 10, and I asked both of them, would you guys want me to make this again? And they both said yes. Personally, I liked it a lot, but it's not something I see myself eating very frequently. And also, when it came to the leftovers we had, I didn't want to reheat it. It seems like something you would want to eat as it came out of the oven, not over and over and over again. As for the tzatziki, both of my parents loved it because it's very similar to maskhyar, like I previously mentioned. But overall, I would give this a 8 out of 10 personally. If you guys do end up wanting to make the dishes that I made in this video, I will be linking the recipes that I used in the description, as I didn't give any explanation on how I made this, rather as using it as a background for all this information that I'm giving you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.